For the first time in his long career, Al Hoffman was leading with Casey Spurlock in second, followed by John Force, Cruz Pedregon, and Chuck Etchells in the number 5 spot. In the first round of racing, Etchells, who had qualified number 8, put away the points leader, Al Hoffman. Meantime, Kenji Okazaki, who had run 5:06 in qualifying, defeated the number 16 car, Gordy Bonnet. Chuck Etchells' elapsed time in qualifying was a 5:19. He ran a 5:17 in his first round victory over Hoffman. Okazaki had qualified with that 5:06 and used a 5:15 to beat up on Gordy. In round number 2, it was Okazaki with the lane choice, and it did him no good as he violently smoked the tires and crossed the center line. Chuck Etchells won it at a 5:17. Okazaki was disappointed.
Kenji, you had your hands full that time. A good job of keeping it off the wall.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, but just tire smoke, you know. I can't do nothing out there.
So the upset victory by Chuck Etchells puts him into the Final Four, fills one of our slots there. In first round action, Cruz Pedregon, who had qualified number 4, defeated Whit Bazemore, while Casey Spurlock, the winner at Pomona earlier this year, defeated the surprising and very strong Gary Bolger. Spurlock, out of Nashville, Tennessee, had qualified 5th at a 5:14. He had run a 5:28 in defeating Bolger. Pedregon, number 4 qualifier at a 5:10, came close to matching that in his victory over Bazemore. He ran 5:12 in the first round, had the lane choice, took that lane the furthest from our camera. The fruit of the loom car of Spurlock in the near lane. The McDonald's Oldsmobile in the far lane, and it was Spurlock the winner.
At about 1,000 feet, the driver became an important part of the equation here.
Tell you what, Steve, it was moving around a great deal out there. And, you know, I've told you this before. When you get a crew like I've got and you go out there and this thing starts to move around and I'm trying to turn on the wind light, I'll do anything in the world for these guys. And I got it to the other end.
While Spurlock is looking strong in the Winston points chase, this is his first Final Four appearance since that Winter Nationals championship. Meantime, on the other side of the ladder, Mark Oswald, who had qualified number 3 with a very strong showing, defeated Richard Hartman, and Dean Scusa got a break when Jim Epler left a red light at the starting line. Oswald was strong in qualifying. His elapsed time there was a 5:10 and a 5:16 in his first round win. Scusa had qualified 6th with a great 5:16, but slowed to a 5:34. So the margin here all went to Oswald, but Scusa pulled off the upset.
Crew came down here yelling, "Who is that kid? Who is that kid? That kid, you just won by 100. What a drag race."
Oh, boy, I didn't know it was that close. I didn't see him the whole way, but I'll tell you what, this Pontiac body, it is really something. I mean, this thing can go down there, half track, have the wheels up 2 foot in the air, and it's still going straight, you know?
You're having fun.
Pretty wild. Thanks, Steve.
Okay, man.
Dean Scusa stepped up by more than 1/10 of a second in that second round victory over Mark Oswald. That put him into the Final Four. The number 2 qualifier was John Force. He defeated Gary Densham in the first round, while number 7, Tom Hoover, had his share of problems getting a hold of the pavement. That gave Gary Saloni a chance to advance to round 2, where he would meet Force. Force's qualifying time was a great 5:06, only 0.03 of a second slower than Okazaki, and he had the lane choice here, having run a 5:10 in that first round. Force had the wheels up at the starting line, but at the finish he had set them down to a 5:15.
John, it looks like Austin wasn't taking any chances. He didn't really want to run another 5:10.
No, he always backs her down a little bit, but I told him I was having trouble down the racetrack. She has the fronted up. She's driving all over, but, hey, the points are starting to move around a lot, Steve.
That steering wheel is useless if the wheels are in the air.
Oh, yeah, but it really makes it exciting for a driver. Uncle Austin's doing his job, but we got our job cut out.
Got lane choice.
We'll take it.
John came into this race number 3 in points, and he's the one that got the big break as the result of the pairings on the ladder. In the Final Four, it'll be Dean Scusa against John Force, John holding the choice of lanes. The other side of the ladder finds a real big race between Chuck Etchells and Casey Spurlock. We'll be coming right back to Gainesville Raceway and the Mac Tools Gatornationals. The Final Four in Funny Car coming up next. a mountain to climb. The obstacle standing in his way of his first ever final round appearance is none other than the reigning Winston champion, John Force, at the wheel of the Castrol Chevy Lumina. Force has the lane choice. He has been outperforming the field throughout the bulk of the day. A 5:15 in the previous round gives him the choice of lanes. And Scusa gives him a battle. The elapsed time for Force slowing to a 5:24 and 2:86. Scusa was close behind with a 5:28. A tremendous challenge for Scusa, and he almost made it. The remaining two cars in this semifinal round of funny car competition, the Kendall GT1 Super Winch Dodge of Chuck Etchell is up against the fruit of the loom Dodge Daytona, Casey Spurlock at the wheel. The burnout's underway. These long, smoky burnouts are there for a purpose. They're designed to heat the tires and to get them as clean as possible and to transfer some rubber to the racing surface. A gigantic crowd on hand today at Gainesville Raceway for the silver anniversary Mac Tools Gatornationals. Now, let's go to the far end of the track. Here's Steve Evans.
I don't know, John. I'll say at 5:24, you barely had enough steam to gun that kid down.
Man, I tell you what, everything was going wrong up there. My helmet busted on the start line, couldn't lock it up there. Trying to silver tape it. She smoked the tires. She's just a weak dog.
Weak dog.
Well, that's what old Castro and them boys pay us for, but what can I say? I'll just talk to Pappy when I get back. Maybe I have to cut a little waves.
The crew on Chuck Etchell's car, headed by crew chief John Medlin, intently looking underneath that fiberglass body, but they find it to their liking. The body comes down, a check to the roof hatch above Chuck Etchell's head. And here we go, the last race of the semifinal round. Spurlock and Etchell. Spurlock trying to repeat as a champion on the NHRA Winston Trail. He won at Pomona. A close race and a big fire for Chuck Etchells. The win goes to Spurlock. The parachute's off the car, and Etchells has got his hands full. Up against the guardrail, the car comes to an abrupt stop. Etchells inside that burning fiberglass body, and there you see him coming out of the emergency hatch on the roof. Chuck Etchells rolls off the car to the opposite side as the safety safari pulls up and the fire extinguishing compound begins to be applied to the blazing Dodge Daytona. Let's take a look at this one again. The margin of victory at the finish line was only 0.02 of a second, and the win went to Spurlock. But watch Etchells in the far lane just before the finish line speed trap. The problems began. There was a puff, then the oil started coming out of it, and then the fire began. The blaze built in intensity as Chuck Etchells did a magnificent job of keeping the car in his lane. Look from another angle at ground level. The Dodge was moving all over the racetrack. There was a pop. The supercharger may have let go. A rod may have come out. Something dumped a whole lot of oil out of that racing engine. The parachutes were out then. The fire gets to them, but Etchells brought it to a halt. Steve?
You can tell by the helmet there was lots of smoke and fire inside that car. And, Chuck, I don't have to tell you, that was one of the worst ones anyone's had in a long time. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, Steve, thanks.
Breathing is usually the biggest problem in those hills.
Well, it shocked me, because it looked like we were starting to drive away from him, and all of a sudden, bang. Not good.
Not good at all. The car, obviously, you did a great job of getting it stopped to get some help, though.
Well, I was hoping to hit some, but not him. I lost my vision totally. And I was trying to get off to the left, and fortunately, that's what happened.
Etchells brought the car to a stop right up alongside the guardrail. He's headed to be checked out by the safety safari crew. We'll be right back.